Hello, everybody, and welcome to the face reading of the people in the news. Today we'll be talking about Harvey Weinstein. Yes, the famous and super successful producer, director, film executive, and co-founder, along with his brother Bob, of Miramax Entertainment. But I'm not going to talk about him, unfortunately, because of his incredible accomplishments, but because of the sex scandal. Frankly, I'm not that interested in what they call celebrities. And till my wife told me that this guy has been all over the news because of the allegations of sex misconduct, I did not know who he was. But once I looked at his face, this face, I knew he was a very interesting subject for those interested in face reading. There were many, many men occupying positions of power, and many of them are very kind and caring and humble people, and some, of course, are not. But very few become molesters or rapists. Can we get a hint by looking at this man's morphology about where his behavior comes from? So let's get to work. Before we do the usual, first read his face/personality and then his profile/temperament, I want us to look at the very obvious, at what jumps out as you look at the man's face. His eyes. You can see clearly that his right eye is half closed while the left one is wide open. We know that the left side is associated with the past and the right side with the present and potential for the future. Most of the time, if we see one of the person's eyes is slightly closed, it is the left eye, meaning that the person is closing his or her eyes on something in their past, some kind of a hurt from childhood, be it parents getting divorced, being abused or neglected, or some other kind of pain. If a person's right eye is closed, it usually happens when the person is at an advanced age and they see something they don't like in their lives, or they're concerned about the direction their life is taking. But with Harvey, it started a long time ago. Look, here is Harvey with his younger brother Bob. You see both Bob's eyes are wide open, but Harvey's right eye is already closed. Of course, a skeptic may say, maybe he had some kind of a physical problem with his right eye. And that's true. Well, maybe. But in the world of meaning, nothing happens by a chance. And as the time passed, whatever little problems little Harvey was closing his eyes to became big problems in a big man named Harvey Weinstein. Let's see if the left side, right side analysis will shed even more light on what's going on with his personality. The simulation of two left sides and two right sides of the face makes it easy to clearly see who a person is and who he or she was. On the picture number 1, we see Harvey's real photo, real face. But look how different are the left side from the right side. The two left sides reveal that the past, the distant past, Harvey was really a Jupiter. But also you see something else probably, and that is the sun, which means as a Jupiter he was caring, good companion, benevolent, accepting, and a visionary. And as a sun, he also was somewhat distant and aloof, as well as was very choosy who he picked as friends. The eyes, as you can see, are wide open, meaning he was welcoming life and had nothing to hide. But look at the picture 3, the two right sides, who Harvey has become. At first, we see the same Jupiter, but with the eyes half closed. He doesn't want to let you in. He is not interested in revealing what's inside. The forehead is much broader. Harvey became even a greater visionary and powerful thinker. But over the benevolent Jupiter, we now also have, if you guessed Mars, you are right. And if you ask, what happened to the sun face? What happened with those personality traits? Well, they disappeared. The aloofness of the sun turned into a sense of entitlement of the Mars. The peacefulness of the sun turned into impatience and aggressivity of Mars. Why? We don't know why. Morphology is a reflective science. It tells us what is, not why it's happening or where it's coming from. But these changes started happening from the young age. We know this. Remember the photographs of two boys. Look at the right eyelid now. The droopy eyelid is a sign of either a person being on drugs, but that's when both eyelids are drooping down, or it may mean that a person is not trustworthy. Well, and yet another interesting feature, the proportions of the inner versus outer faces. I found on the internet this photograph. Interesting. These guys spend time together. Both abused and molested women. Both have small inner faces and large outer faces. Remember what it means. The inner face, you see the circles. The eyes, the nose, and the mouth are receptacles with which we take life in and which tell us about a person's capacity to feel pain, to have compassion. While the outer face, the forehead, the chin, the size of the body, tell us about a person's ability to handle all that comes in. So if the inner face is too large compared to the outer face, for example, like in this young lady's case, a person is super sensitive. And if it's the other way around, look at this. Now you see clearly the difference. So we understand now that Harvey does not suffer from supersensitivity. But let's see what his profile, that is temperament, tell us about his inner characteristics, the qualities he came into this world with. It looks like as a young boy, Harvey was a sanguine with a bilious corner of the jaw, the protruding sanguine chin and the forehead slightly tilted back. But the corner of the jaw is a typical bilious one. So as a sanguine, he was spontaneous, impulsive, demanding, courageous, generous, and aggressive. But the bilious in him added willfulness, endurance, and the ability to lead. The ear is also a classic bilious ear, meaning the stubbornness and will. But keep in mind what we already noticed. The right eye is already slightly closed. There was something that he did not want to see even at that young age. And as the time went on, Harvey gained weight and his bilious jaw became a lymphatic jaw. Here, which added more patience and the ability to see a bigger picture, to become even greater visionary. Now his lymphatic underchin and his lymphatic jaw made his profile look bow-like, which is, of course, the nervous temperament. Here we are, with its greater creativity, quicker mind, but also the need to shine, to receive attention, and if needed, to be diplomatic and or dishonest. But keep in mind, he is still a sanguine, the temperament he was born with, and qualities of the original temperament we usually keep all our life, to some degree or another, even if our temperament evolves, as in this case. In Harvey's case, the sanguine, with all the impulsiveness and spontaneity, as well as the sense of entitlement. Remember, the archetypal animal of the sanguine is a lion, the king. You will find very few people who have all four temperaments operating at the same time. They usually can use all the characteristics as they wish, as the circumstances require. But combined with his face, the droopy eyelids, a sign of being not trustworthy, and the right eye closed, the picture is not that good, frankly. As I said in the past, beyond human morphology, there are moral values that a person may or may not have. And that's what determines how people behave. There is power of love and there is love of power. And if the values are questionable, that is, a person chooses a path of the pursuit of power, as I believe Harvey did, then he employs the very worst of each temperament, the bilious persistence and will, the sanguine impulsivity and sense of entitlement, the lymphatic ability to see through and the need to acquire and keep, and the nervous creativity. All become on the service of that pursuit, the path and the pursuit that hurts many people around and sooner or later bring a demise of a person who made such a choice. And that is all for Harvey Weinstein. If you are new to this site and got interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch on YouTube my face reading introduction and face reading 101 part 1 part 2. Also, please click subscribe if you want to receive notifications every time I post a new video or audio. And thank you for being with me today. Peace to all who like to live in peace.